Yeah, I started the recording. All yours.
Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. Show me some excitement.
Woohoo! Let's go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the monthly workshop by District 127. My name is Patrick Bijani, Toastmasters Patrick, and I'm excited to serve as your sergeant at arms for today's meeting. Let me first remind you of our mission, since we are all mission-driven individuals, and we have this ethos translated in all our organization, from club level, area level, division, district, all the way to Toastmasters International. So let me remind you about our District 127 mission, which is to build new clubs and support all clubs in reaching excellence. As for our Toastmasters International mission, it's to empower all individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. And that's why we are all here, to become better communicators and leaders and to help others become better communicators and leaders. Before we depart on this exciting journey today, let me remind you about a few guidelines to make this meeting exciting, memorable, and smooth. First, digital detox. Please make sure that your mobile phones are off or silent. This will help you enjoy and learn as much as possible from this meeting. Second, noise cancellation. Mute your mic as long as you're not a speaker or you don't want to ask a question. And make sure to keep your screen on as long as you're actually on the laptop, so you improve the engagement in this meeting. If you're driving, we advise that you don't join this meeting, or at least just keep the sound on and focus on driving. Safety first. As for the topics that we never discuss at Toastmasters, please remember, whether you're participating in a Q&A or whether you want to speak, avoid discussing those three controversial topics that are religion, politics, and sex. If nature calls and you want to use the bathroom, feel free to do it anytime, but please put your screen off. Just whenever you're not attending your laptop, please put your screen on off. And finally, if you have any tech problem, please reach out to me on Messenger or on WhatsApp. Now, to our dear and esteemed speakers. Today we have three exciting speakers and presenters: DTM Daryl, DTM Vinod, and DTM Rajesh. For our speakers, please make sure that you always look at the camera so you can address us as if we're in one room. Please make sure all the time to be on your eye levels on the camera level, so we feel that we're standing next to each other or we're sitting with each other. Make sure that you put your setting or your view setting on gallery so you can have a feel of the audience, and pin the timer so you can see your time, if you're on time or you're about to, you have to conclude the conversation. And now, after all this introduction, allow me to introduce someone special that will act as our master of ceremonies, all the way from Germany, Sweta Jaikar. Her home club is Advanced Toastmasters Club in Dubai. She is now currently acting as the VPE of the club. Previously, she was the VPPR of the club, the area, and the division. Professionally, she's the financial advisors of expats. Without any further ado, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, please help me welcome with a warm round of applause, TM Sweta Jaikar. The screen is yours.
Where is our MC?
Shweta.
I think she's cut off from the net.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful opening, Patrick. Do you know where Patrick is joining from? Till the MC joins in, I'll take over because then MC can continue with the event.
Australia?
Shweta is here. Yeah, where is he joining from?
Australia.
Lebanon.
Lebanon. Perfect. Hit the jackpot. He is part of Lebanon and Dubai clubs, and he's a fitness freak. And I don't have the official interaction with me, so this is what I have. Next time when I meet him, for sure, I'll collect more details. The next meeting, I'll update you with the more introduction. Thank you very much, Patrick, for joining in. You did a wonderful job. And I'm sure you next time when you come in, you'll make us all do push-ups and sit-ups and squats. Thank you very much. Good evening, each and everyone. Division directors, district team leaders, area directors, club officers, club members, guests, each and every one of you have a wonderful evening. And before we move on, you know that this is the first combined educational session, first monthly session of District 127. Hi, Shweta. Give me 1 minute, I'll hand over to you. Okay. And this is the first combined educational session of District 127. We are combining the PQ, CG, and the PR workshops. And also today we have the website and the awards reveal so that you don't have to sit in front of the screens hours and hours together to attend 3 workshops and an award session. I'm sure all of you will benefit from this. The interactive part of today's session, the first session in reverse order is a flyer and marketing. So you're going to tell people that we're having wonderful meetings and invite people to the club. So once the members comes in, the guest comes in, we have the second workshop that is called how to convert guests into members. So once the members comes in, they become guests. And once they come in, they have to learn how they're going to become better speakers and better leaders. So the third workshop is on pathways and level 1, how to crack level 1. So once they know how to crack level 1, they slowly climb up from there. But whatever I said is in reverse order. You get my point? So this today, you will be equipped with meeting, publicizing your meeting, getting guests in, and then making sure that guests become better speakers and better leaders. I'm sure that you are going to enjoy this. Recently, I joined, one of the members asked me, to become a better speaker, how long does it take? Can anyone tell me how long does it take for you to become a better speaker or a better leader? Can you just type in the chat, how long did it take for you to get rid of your tension, your heartbeats slowing down, which was faster before? How long did it take? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 months? How long did it take? 15 stages. I'm sure every one of you have your own path, but it's an ongoing process. It happens every time you're becoming better and better and better. And it all depends on how much time you spend, how much effort you put into this particular activity. So wishing you all the very best for this wonderful evening and looking forward to a wonderful session today. And thank you very much to all the trainers for taking up this, and to the PQD, CGD, and the PRM and supporting and encouraging the organizing this event. Let me hand over the stage to the MC for today, Shweta, because I don't have her official introduction. She's joining from Germany. She is already introduced by the Sergeant at Arms. Shweta, thank you very much for joining back. Over to you.
Thank you so much, District Director, Dr. Abdul Sattar. And thank you, SAA. I think I was late by 2 minutes, so I missed the introduction. So thank you so much for joining in, dear Toastmasters, district division, area directors, and our real leaders, our members, and our clubs. Thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday evening. How are you all doing today? Thumbs up, something. How are you all doing today? Okay, all of you are excited. It's about new learning. It's about lots more of learning, and Toastmasters has so much to offer to us that we have, and today evening is going to be a day when we're going to grasp a lot. So before I go further, I'm going to introduce a few of the silent role players who are going to be helping us throughout the meeting in the background. So first is going to be our timer, TM David Isaac, President of Westfold Leaders Toastmasters Club. Zoom Master, could you please highlight the role player just when I speak about them? Okay, he's saying hi to all of you. And he's also the current CGD of Division E. Thank you so much, TM David. Next, we are going to the Zoom Master. So Zoom Master, you will have to highlight yourself. So, dear Zoom Master, our Zoom Master is TM Kiran Das for today. He is the part of Dubai Silicon Oasis Toastmasters Club and is currently the VPM of the club, VPPR of the club, sorry. Thank you so much, TM Kiran, for joining in. And fine, when we go ahead, first, we're going to just talk about how much Toastmasters has to offer and everything, but the people behind that who are going to offer it to us today, all the 3 trainers, can we just have them? I'll introduce them a little later to you, but just can you spotlight all 3 of them? DTM Daryl Rodricks, DTM Vinod Raman, and DTM Rajesh Menon. Can you just highlight all 3 of them? We just want to say hello to them. Hello, DTM Rajesh Menon. DTM Daryl and DTM Vinod. So these will be our trainers for today. Thank you so much for being there. And yes, I will give you your formal introduction later as we go in. Thank you so much, Zoom Master, for highlighting all our speakers for today. And then if all of you or some of you have read the book on Big Panda and Tiny it's by James Norbury. There's a beautiful saying in the book, it's important, the journey or the destination. They're basically going on a small trip. The panda, the tiny dragon responds. The company is important. So the same way, Toastmasters being a big family is a beautiful company, especially District 127. So many of them to support us, so many opportunities to learn. So thank you so much for today evening. I would like to now invite our district director to say a few words, and then our PQD, Dr. Muniba Ali, who's a doctor by profession and a Toastmaster by passion for the last 7 years, also to say a few words. Thank you.
Dr. Muniba.
And Dr. Muniba.
Yeah, I am done from my side already.
Yep. Thank you, Toastmaster Shweta. District Director, DTM Dr. Abdul Sattar, my dear friend CGD, Harish, District's darling PRM Wenzil, dignitaries of the House, leaders, and my loving fellow Toastmasters. A very good evening. There's a saying that for in every adult, there dwells a child that was, and in every child, there lies an adult that will be. By John Connolly in the book of Lost Things. I think one of the reasons we all don't like education sessions is because of that inner child. Inner prefers fun over learning and has an endless list of excuses to dodge these lessons. My kids, they attend Sunday classes for religious studies, and every Sunday they'd suddenly come with a stomachache or sore throat or be extremely tired, basically a variety of complaints. They seem to forget that their mom is a doctor, and none of these illnesses were cured by medication, of course. So as a mom with veto power, I decided the one thing I could do, that was to teach them on a Saturday before they attend the Sunday classes. And this Sunday schools taught Malayalam and Arabic, which is the 2 toughest languages of the world. And well, my teaching paid off. And on the big day, the exam day, their scores spoke for themselves. And getting praised by the teacher in front of their friends was the exact medicine they needed. Suddenly, I started seeing happy and healthy faces on the Sundays. Getting that gold star in class, of course, that mattered. It was a boost. But what really worked was the magic of knowledge. Learning things, knowing the material, whatever it might be, makes you a better and more confident person. So that's why I chose this topic of Guide to Pathways, which is our Toastmaster curriculum, and Mastering Level 1. I'm aiming for every member to complete Level 1 in their respective path. Because once they do, they become self-sufficient to continue in their path. You might think, what's in it for those who have already completed Level 1? Well, you can take on that mother's role and teach your fellow Toastmasters how to master Level 1 with these learnings. So no more missing Sunday schools and no more missing your club meetings. Over to you, Toastmaster Shweta, for a wonderful education session to proceed.
Dr. DTM, Dr. Muniba. So I think we can start the session. We're going to start with our first speaker, first education session. Zoom Master, please highlight DTM Darren Rodricks. So he joined Toastmaster in 2019 and is president of Let's Debate Toastmaster. He's held various positions in the area and division and is currently the PR manager of District 127. And the topic, Zoom Master, can you please highlight DTM Darren, please? Zoom Master, are you there?
Master of Ceremony, I think the speaker is not on the video.
Yeah, he's not in the video. That's why we are not able to highlight.
Not in the room. I think his connection is lost. So just give a minute, please.
Okay, sure, no problem.
We can move to the next presenter. When George.
Okay. Okay, sure, no problem. We'll move on to DTM Vinod Raman, the next speaker, next education session for today. He's been a Toastmaster since 2011, more than a decade.
Shweta, Daryl is here. Sorry.
Okay. Can we spotlight him or?
Daryl, can you put on the camera, please? His audio is not connected. It's connected.
Thank you, DTM Daryl. So the topic for today is Guide to Pathways and Mastering Level 1. Guide to Pathways and Mastering Level 1. DTM Daryl, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, MC. Good evening, District 127. How are you doing? All right. I guess it's Murphy's laws that, network fails when you are called on. But nevertheless, let's move ahead. Before I begin with the presentation, let me thank the District 127 team for giving me this opportunity to come all the way to Dubai, virtually though, and conduct this presentation for all of you. My screen is visible?
Yes.
Thank you for the confirmation. All right. Before I dive into what I have in store for you for the next 20 minutes, a couple of questions. How many of you have been in Toastmasters for 2 months now? Just 2 months. You can raise your hand. At least a year. Okay. Completed level 1. All right, fantastic. Thank you for the response. So today what we will see in the next 20 minutes is 2 things. One, you can lower your hands. One is, of course, how to, what exactly Pathways is all about and how we can master level 1. Like our district director, like your district director mentioned, this is the third aspect that is crucial once a member joins. So the first one is guide to pathways. So I'm sure most of you already have selected your path, but if you haven't, then this next slide is for you. So what you have to do is log into Toastmasters International website. There is a particular tab called Learning Hub, where all your educational resources, one-stop solution for all your education resources. Go there, choose your path. If you haven't embarked on your pathways journey, of course, if you've joined Toastmasters, you get a path with your membership. But otherwise, if you've finished one path, then go ahead and explore another path. All you have to do is pay for that path, $20 for that path, and you can claim it. Once you have your path, you can go to Basecamp and access all the learning paths and tutorials that are there for you. So what exactly is pathways? We've all been in school, we've all been in college, and we all have an education curriculum, right? That is provided by the institution. Toastmasters educational pathways is that curriculum, the Toastmasters educational program. Now, this that you can see on your screen is up to mid-2024, which is right now. We have 11 paths, 11 different paths, and these paths are curated based on certain competencies. So you can see on your screen, there are five major competencies and 11 paths that you can choose from. Now, if you have been in the organization or the movement for the last 1 year, in the last 1 year, you will get to know, you would have known that and that we have only 6 paths. So I will keep this presentation in line with that. I'll touch upon the other 5 paths that were there. But yeah, keeping in mind that we have only 6 paths in the future. Now, we all join Toastmasters for different reasons, right? Some of us join to become better speakers, some to become better leaders, some to just network and make friends. So for whatever reason you have joined, Pathways gives you 5 different competencies, 5 core competencies that you can develop. One is, of course, public speaking. Like I said, we all want to be better speakers. And so we need to learn the nuances of public speaking. One core competency that Pathways offers is public speaking. The second is interpersonal communication. Whether you're a speaker or leader, you need to interact with people. For example, this educational session today, if it was an on-site environment, there would be more personal interaction. Even with leaders, right? The leader has to interact with teams. There is that personal connect that needs to be developed. And Pathways offers this as a core competency. The third is majorly for leadership, where you need to use strategy and ideate your path as a leader. So that is the third. The fourth, I think, comes with everything, management. And I think we all relate with the aspect that we need to learn the essence of time management. We have our personal lives, we have our professional lives, we have our lives in Toastmasters as well. And if you're able to sit here, probably it's because we are able to manage our time efficiently. So this is a core competency that any path will provide for you. And the last one, of course, is confidence. And I think that's a very, very important skill for all of us, especially in our professional lives. I've always believed that you might know things, you might not know things, but if you have the confidence to say things, then half your work is done. So to build that confidence or to learn how to be confident, Pathways helps us in that. So we have 5 different competencies that I've just elaborated. What is the competency that you want to work on is the question that I have for you. And I want you to take the next few seconds to think about it and probably put it in the chat box. What competence? It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be a combination 1 and 3. But what exactly do you want to work on? Do you know that? And if yes, what is it?
Hi, Daryl.
Confidence, I can see Gayatri is written confidence.
Hi, Daryl. Sorry to interfere.
Yes.
If you put on your camera, the voice will be clearer. So can you please?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking in between. That's why.
1 second.
Yeah, sorry to interfere. Thank you. Please continue.
Let me just.
Are you there? We lost again. So sorry for that. I think everyone out of the slide has network issues.
Do we wait or do we proceed to
Let's wait for a minute. So because halfway through, right?
Yeah, okay.
Let's wait for a minute, and then if he's not coming back, we can move on to the next speaker.
Okay. He's back.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
yeah. You can put the camera off and then continue so that the network will be better.
All right. But my audio is clear, right?
Yes, yes, your audio is clear. You can share the PowerPoint.
Yes. Right. So we discussed what are the competencies, and I saw most of you putting it in the chat box. So like I mentioned, there are 11 paths that are available, curated on the different competencies. So if you actually go to a slide before where I mapped, the competencies have been mapped to these paths. So for example, presentation mastery would be public speaking and confidence. Visionary communication could probably have strategic leadership and interpersonal communication coupled with it. So these are the 11 parts that are offered. The top 6 are what remains in the new LMS system that will come out in the new LMS module that will be coming out. The 5 other parts have been removed. So if you have chosen that path, then do speed up and complete the process because we do not know how it will be managed in the future, but these parts would remain with the new LMS system. So what exactly does a path constitute? We spoke about the 11 parts, right? What does a path constitute is what we'll be discussing next. You can see 5 blocks on your screen. So there is something to do with 5, and you're right, there are 5 levels. Each part will constitute 5 levels. Each part will constitute 5 levels, all right? And what each level constitute is what we will see now. Each level has some projects along with it. So the first level has 4 projects, level 2 has 3 projects, level 3 has 3 projects, level 4, 2, and level 5, 2. Now, what exactly are these projects about is what I will show you next. The first level has 4 projects and all of them are compulsory. Now, I've used the word compulsory here, but I would probably rephrase it as predefined projects. So you have 4 projects that you need to complete in level 1. Level 2 has 3 projects, again, all are compulsory and all are predefined before. Level 3 has 3 projects. One of that is already defined, a compulsory one that you need to attempt, and 2 are elective. So when I say elective, you are given 5 or 6 choices, and you can choose any 2 of your liking that you feel you can deliver. Same goes for level 4 with 2 projects where one is already predefined, you need to attempt that, and the other is an elective, 5 choices, and you choose one. Level 5 has 2 projects. One is an elective, which is out of 5, you can choose any one project that you want to do. And lastly, reflect on your path. So the entire path journey that you have completed, what are the learnings that you have amassed, all that you will share in your last project speech, which is reflect on your path. Now, the level has been set up for a reason, right? And this is why the level is set up. So for example, let's take the example of presentation mastery here, where you want to improve your skills as a public speaker. In the first level, all you do when you deliver your projects are you master the fundamentals of public speaking. All right, probably writing a speech, delivering it with vocal variety, using a body language, things like that is what you master in the first level. The second one is learning your style. So now what exactly is your style of communication? how do you, for example, let me give you my example. So when I joined in, I always prefer to be behind the podium, because then people would not know I'm nervous or not. But then I realized, no, that it cannot always be the solution. You need to come forward and, use entire stage and speak. So that is my style. So how you can learn your style is what you will learn in level 2. Level 3 is, of course, increase your knowledge in this particular domain with regard to public speaking. What are the different things that I can learn extra is what will be conveyed to you in level 3. I need to build my skills as a public speaker. Level 4 is the chance for me with those 2. I can build my skills. For example, I want to speak to an audience. An audience will not always be the audience that you want to target, right? There could be other distractions as so that is what level 4 will help you with. Level 5 is, of course, you so summary of pathways is, of course, now we have 6 paths. 6 paths will projects. Totally, we have 4.
Did we lose him again?
We are unable to hear you.
Oh, no, I think we lost him.
We'll wait for a minute for him to join back. If not, we'll go on to the next session.
Okay.
Zoom is not my best friend. I've been logging out so many times. Let me just quickly. Apologies for the network disruptions. So this is what each path comprises, but one question that I have for all of you is how many speeches that you need to deliver. I leave you with this thought. I want you to go and explore pathways and see how many speeches that you need to deliver. To be honest, that shouldn't matter, but just something just for your information, so that once you complete a level, complete a path, you get to know how many speeches you have delivered and the progress that you have made right from level 1 to level 5. All right, that being said, let's move on to the second segment of this particular presentation where we learn how to master level 1. So we spoke about level 1 where we master the fundamentals, right? So what does level 1 actually entail is the next question. And it has 4 different blocks, like you can see, and I mentioned before, if you remember, 4 different projects come under level 1. We'll see them one by one. The first one is icebreaker. So what exactly goes in an icebreaker is you understand the basic speech structure and what happens in an icebreaker. For example, I had joined my club in March 2019. When I joined my club, and I'm sure this is the case with all of you, you do not know anyone and they might not know you as well. So this is a good platform to also break the ice, introduce yourself to the club. And when I ask someone to introduce themselves, right? And this goes for everyone as well. You introduce yourself in 2-3 lines, maximum 4 to 5 lines. But here, you don't introduce yourself in that many lines. You introduce yourself in 4 to 6 minutes. And how does this help? This helps, of course, because you need to prepare what you know about yourself, and you need to deliver it very spontaneously, right? You're speaking about yourself, you need to be spontaneous. It might not happen because we're delivering a speech here, but it's totally fine. The importance is that we learn how to plan and learn how to prepare and write a speech. Of course, you need to learn to demonstrate a confidence because you're speaking in front of the audience, and eventually you will build that communication skill of yours. So that this icebreaker is the first step, one to break the ice, and the starting step, to build your communication skill. The second project is writing a speech with a purpose. So there are so many things that we want to talk about, so many things that we can talk about that can have some value, to our audience. So first thing here is to choose any topic that you want to speak about. The second thing is to understand that you're talking to an audience. You need to tell them something, right? So you need to have a purpose for what your purpose with which you're delivering your speech, you're writing the speech. That is the second. Third is to, when you deliver your speech or you write your speech, it has to have different components. You have to connect all of those components together. For example, I'll tell you what I did here when I delivered my speech. My topic was about fear. Now, fear is something that's common to all of us. And all of us are scared of something or the other. Some of us are scared of heights, some of us are scared of water. I'm scared of animals. And so that is something that everyone can relate with. What I spoke about is, of course, my fear and how I'm trying to overcome it. I might not have overcome it, but what I'm doing is something that people can connect with. They will think, okay, this is what they are also, doing to overcome their fear. And when you build that, connect everything together and give it as a well-wrapped gift, like Verity Price said. So this is the second project that you need to work on, writing a speech with a purpose. The third project is Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. Now, it said that 7% of your communication is verbal, and the remaining 93 is non-verbal, with 38% maybe vocal variety and 55 your body language. So what you need to do here when you're preparing is two things. With regard to vocal, I would first say identify what are the different methods in which you can bring about vocal variety. Your pitch, your tone, your volume, your pace. When you listen to other people, identify what are the different aspects of vocal variety and how it is brought about. This will give you clarity on how you should apply it in your speech. It can be a same storyline structure of a speech that you want to deliver, but these aspects have to be brought in. And if you want to bring in these aspects, you have to understand how to apply it. So that is with regard to vocal variety. Moving on to the next one, which is body language. Again, how body language is expressed, with terms of expression, emotion, your attitude. Observe all this when people are delivering. And when you see it, you can then practice and implement when you deliver your speech. So this is what I would recommend if you want to excel in this particular project of Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. Observe, 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 then practice and implement. The last project here is evaluation and feedback, which again has two components. We all know feedback is the breakfast of champions. So if you want to be a champion, you should be open to receiving feedback. And if you want to champion others, then you need to also give them constructive feedback so that they can grow. Now, this particular project has two components, like I mentioned. The first one is where you deliver a speech, get the feedback, and then implement that feedback in your speech to grow. So the very first step here, or the very important aspect to keep in mind here, is to acknowledge the importance of getting that feedback. I've also sometimes been, not very receptive of feedback, but that's the beauty of feedback or evaluation in our club meetings. People give us evaluation, they give us feedback. It's up to us whether we want to take it or not. But the feedback is there for us. So that is very crucial when you attempt this particular project. The next aspect is, of course, you giving feedback to another speaker, right? And what you can do here is, of course, pay very critical attention to what that speaker is saying. Like I said, again, if you want to be a good evaluator, there are two things you need to do. One is observe and one is listen. Of course, what are the different points to give, to recommend and to commend the speaker on, you will learn eventually. But if you observe and listen, half the work is done. I'll also give you one other, what I practiced, to build my skills as an evaluator is every meeting I attended, I would evaluate a speaker, even if I was not an evaluator. I would note down points that I could, write, commend and recommend the speaker. I would note it down. I'll be honest with you, the very first evaluation I gave, it was less than 1.5 minutes and it was pathetic. I think I've come a long distance from there. But you need to start to read somewhere, right? So start by at least start noting down things in your club meetings. You don't have to go onto the stage and deliver the feedback or the evaluation. Start noting down things. Once you're confident or you build that confidence to, okay, this is what I can tell them, then go ahead and give evaluation. But like I said, key here is observe, listen, and practice. With that, we have come to the end of the 4 different projects in level 1: icebreaker, writing a speech, introduction to vocal variety, evaluation, and feedback. But I spoke about what level 1 in pathways is, right? But I have 3 things for you if I want to tell you how to master level 1. And that is have focus. The first one is have focus. You should know what is your goal and keep deadlines. You've joined your Toastmasters Club in June 2024. You need to try and see if you can complete these 4 projects in level 1 in 4 months. 1 project per month. Do you have that kind of bandwidth? Do you have that kind of commitment? Do you have that kind of focus? That's something you can ponder upon. But try and ensure that you can finish, or any member who joins the club should finish their level 1 in 4 months, maximum 6 months. Because then that person will be motivated to move to level 2. The second is work closely with your mentor. We all know Toastmasters envisions mentoring and focuses so much on mentoring. Work closely with them, the mentor you're assigned to, because they will tell you or guide you in the right direction. Your mentor has already been there, done that, so they know what will work, what might not work. And so have that close association or that relation with your mentor and work with them so that you can master your level 1. And the last one is be observant. Observe everything that's happening around you in your club meeting, outside your club meeting. In this particular session, for example, you're observing something, some takeaway, note it down and implement it. I'd like to leave you or conclude with this thought where they say, Toastmasters is like a playground where you can learn, fail, make mistakes so that you are ready to face the outside world. With that, I wish you all the best as you continue your journey in pathways, probably master level 1 and embark on this journey of learning and learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DTM Daryl. Wonderful session. Can we have a round of applause for DTM Daryl, please? The virtual one, please. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call upon our Club Growth Director, DTM Harish Krishnan, to say a few words. You're on mute. DTM Harish, you're on mute.
No, sorry. Somebody was raising their hand for a question, or we will have it together.
We'll have it in the end. We'll have a question answer session at the end, please.
Yeah. Then DTM Daryl have to stay on the connection for some more time. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Shweta. It's my time now. It's a great pleasure to see you all on a Saturday evening. My dear District 127 family, my fellow leaders, District Director Dr. Abdul Sattar, Dr. Muniba, PR Manager Dr. Toastmaster Wenzel, and all the district fraternity, and not least, but our real champs, our real patrons, the members of district itself. I know it's a Saturday evening. We have a lot of options, and especially in Dubai, you have the city is always calling you with all, and still you took the time to stay here for 1 hour. Spend your time on 1 hour. That itself says a lot of your commitment. We have lined up an interesting set of trainers with topics that's time to the occasion or the season, which will help you perform your jobs well, especially with a sense of purpose. Yeah. I remember a line I heard recently from one of us, maybe Dr. Abdul Sattar or somebody, I can't recollect. If you do or if you don't do anything, this year shall pass either ways, right? So if you ask me how we should look at it while taking this year head on as fresh leaders, I would say think with the end in mind. Think with the end in mind. Means what you want to see as your accomplishment when you step down on June 30th, 2025. What did I add value to my club as a club leader or as a member? What did I learn from what I was 1 year back? I also wanted to cover on my specific area, which is membership. Your PR team may make a lot of sound because I see a lot of posters, a lot of activities, so vibrancy in the social media scene. They may attract a lot of members to the club. But have you ever checked in the past 6 months or 1 year, what is the conversion ratio that happens in your club? So let's say you get 10 members, 10 guests, how much you convert to members? So to address that, we have this session today coming up, how to convert your guests to members. Not to give an intro because we have the MC to give, but still I have to say a few words about the trainer. When I joined Toastmasters 8 years back, and I was the president of my home club, we had this gentleman as the division director. So that time I said, okay, I also want to be a leader like him. And that was the inspiration I had, or that was the mindset I had of what an ideal Toastmaster leader should be. So we have an interesting leader who is going to give you a good detailed orientation on how to convert your guests to members. And I wish all will take this home and work towards your goals by the year end so that we close with a bang. We give more satisfaction to our patrons, which is our members, and we have a great year this year. So I want to repeat it. One district, one family. Over to you, MC, dear Shweta.
Thank you so much, CGT, for those lovely words. So we move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is DTM Vinod Raman. He's been a Toastmaster since 2011, more than a decade now. Works as a tax technology consultant for the company EY and is currently the VPM of Take Debate. Transforming guests into lifelong members. DTM Vinod Raman, the stage is all yours.
Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Good evening, everyone. Toastmaster Shweta, can I just make sure I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes. And the screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, you're visible, but your share screen isn't visible as yet.
Yes.
Now
what about now? Okay, brilliant. All right, thank you so much. First off, for that introduction from Toastmaster Shweta. And DTM Harish, thank you so much for choosing not to become a leader like me and becoming a better version. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And I'm going to try and live up to the introduction that I've just been given. The main agenda for this presentation is how can you convert a guest to a member and then ensure that they remain a Toastmaster. I wanted to start with a couple of questions. Please feel free to put your responses in the chat window. All right. The first one is, and we'll cover all of these in over the course of the presentation. Where can you update your club address and contact details? I'll give you 10 seconds. You can put your messages in the chat window, and then I'll move on to the next question. Okay. Either everyone's forgotten to type or nobody knows the answer for this. Okay. All right. I'll just move on. The next one is, are clubs allowed to vote their members in? This means if you don't want a member to join your club, can you actually say no? Okay, I don't see any responses in the chat window. Am I still audible? If someone can confirm.
No, there are
yes,
responses.
There are
okay,
There
all
are
right,
so
fine.
many responses also in the chat window.
Can you turn on the chat maybe?
Okay, all right, fine. I
There are responses
I had
coming
to
in.
scroll down a little bit. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so Club Central, yes, brilliant. repeat the question? Okay, the question was, are clubs allowed to vote the members in? Essentially, if you don't want somebody to join your club, can you actually say, no, we don't want that member to join? Okay. And the last one is, can a mentee choose a different mentor than the one that's actually assigned to them? Okay, I did see one person say no to this. All right, so let's go through the presentation and let's see how we actually fare with these questions. So how I've chosen to divide this presentation is what happens before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting, and then after the guest actually joins the club as a member. So the first thing is, before your guest, before the person actually becomes a guest, how do you make sure that they can attend your meeting, get to your meeting? The first thing that you want to make sure is ensure that your meeting details are up to date on Club Central. This is very important. Yeah, it's not I've seen this happen more than once, and it's actually happened to my own club as well, where we forgot to update the details on Club Central. And unfortunately, somebody ended up at the wrong venue. Yeah, so if there's anybody who doesn't know how this is actually done, if you are a club officer, all you have to do is log into Club Central, go to My Home, and then under Club Central, you have Club Management, which is Club Contact and Meeting Information. You can go there and you can update the contact details here. So this includes, I think it may have logged me out. So while it does that, so essentially when someone's trying to find out the location of a club that is close to their, where they live, there's a feature on Toastmasters International website called Find a Club. The address and contact details that show up there are listed here. So you have your contact information. So make sure it's someone's number who actually will answer the phone. And also the meeting location details are here. So if you're not sure whose number to put, you can always put DTM Abdul Sattar. So he always answers his phone, or you can put DTM Harish as well. So if there's anybody who doesn't know where this is done, it's under Club Central. Next point is, if you get an inquiry, this could be on WhatsApp, via email, maybe a Facebook or Instagram message, please make sure you respond within the first 24 to 48 hours max. So this is where, as typically it is the VP membership that you want to do this, but you can enlist the help of your VP PR and a couple of other XCOM members as well. Or if you have a really active member, you can always ask them to monitor these communication channels that you have. Maintain a standard. So especially if you have a club that's really popular, maybe the Dubai Toastmasters Club or a TGIS club, or I think the other one that I saw recently was JLT, where you're in excess of 50 members. You clearly have a lot of guests that are walking in. Now, when these people are, when you're getting messages left, right, and center, we're all busy. So it's good to have a few standard messages that you can just copy paste in this WhatsApp era, email era, that you can just copy paste and send it out to them. It will really help them. It'll really help you to, ensure that you respond in a quick and timely manner. Some of the things you want to ensure that are included in those messages, ensure that it is a positive and encouraging tone. Sometimes guests are a little nervous, yeah? So you want to make sure that this is, again, I know there's at least one club here. I know Dubai Toastmasters used to charge a guest fee. I don't know if there's any other clubs. You are entitled to charge, but if you don't have a guest fee, or if you do, please ensure that you highlight it in the email. Assure them that there's no pressure to speak. There are people who are coming there because they are just really afraid to speak. So you can always tell them that there's no pressure, to get up on stage and, put them in front of a live audience. Assign a contact person or a buddy, especially if they're meeting, if it's their first ever Toastmaster meeting, if you can assign somebody, when you come to the meeting, this is the person you want to look for. This is the person we're assigning to you as a buddy. He or she is going to look after you through the entire meeting. These are things, all of these things will help, and inform them in advance. Again, there are certain venues that have issues with parking. There are security protocols. For example, the B Hub in Bergman. So it can take quite a while to actually park your car, get through traffic, and then get to the meeting room itself. So letting them know in advance that they need to budget a little bit of extra time for this will go a long way in making their, initial visit to the club a lot smoother. The last thing you want is a guest to come in there all frustrated and being late just because they weren't informed of all of these. So when you include all of these in that initial message out to the guest, it not only makes them feel comfortable, it will also help them feel like the club really wants me to be there. You know, they'll be really looking forward to the meeting. Ensure good meeting signage. Now, if you're I can't think of any specific venue right now, any club venue right now, but if you're someone that meets in the corner of a building, it's good to have a little bit of signage so that the person can find their way to your meeting room, especially if you're in a school, you know, and there's a lot of classrooms there, and you're not really meeting in an auditorium. Good signage will definitely help. And again, expand your communication channels. So this is something I'd mentioned this a little earlier. There's no harm in having as many communication channels as you can. You can have WhatsApp, you can have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these, but just ensure that you can actually manage all of these channels, because there might be someone who prefers a specific channel, and when they choose to communicate, if they don't get a response, you're obviously going to lose out on that guest and potential future member. Okay. Pitching to potential members isn't just about touting the value of Toastmasters. It's about what the program can do for that person specifically. So to the VP memberships, the club presidents, anyone whose details are listed on the club website as a contact person, always good to actually just ask that guest, what do they do in life? What are they looking for? And then tell them what specific aspects of Toastmasters can actually help those aspects that they are looking to enhance or work on. That will make them even more keen on, visiting your club and seeing what, how it can actually help them either personally or professionally. Just telling them Toastmasters is this is just a regular spiel, and, they may very well have heard it before or read it online as well. And again, a potential loss. Next up is first impressions. So when they first walk into your club, what do they see? It's good if you can decide. I'm pretty sure every club here has a greet master. Yeah? So, and when you have a slightly bigger club, it's always good to have more than one person standing at the door and welcoming people in. Collect your guest details. Now you can have it. This is very important. Yeah, you want to make sure that you can reach out to that guest after the meeting is over. So ensure you collect their guest details. You can choose to do it in a book, a guest book, or if you're a little more tech savvy and you prefer having iPads or tabs that are running around the meeting room, makes it even better. Okay, now this is something that I found out recently, while doing a little bit of research for this presentation. Imagine I call the club as a guest and I say, I intend to visit your club. And when I get there, I find a name tag with my name on it. That is a real personal touch, and that makes me feel right at home already. So if you can do this, and just a word of caution about this name tag, yeah. I had an instance a few years ago, this was pre-COVID, when I walked in and it wasn't a name tag so much as a smiley. And it was a lady that just stuck it straight on my chest. They didn't even ask me. They just stuck it straight on my chest. I'm glad my wife wasn't around. I probably would have had a lot of explaining to do. But that wasn't the bad part. The downside of this was I sat there, I enjoyed the meeting for 2 hours. And then when I was leaving, I decided to pull this off. And unfortunately, it ruined the entire shirt. And I never got to wear that again. So maybe stay away from the sticky stuff. Try and choose either a pin or even a magnetic one. And it's something that you can always take back at the end of the meeting. Yeah. So a name tag is a real personal touch. Similarly, having a guest kit. I'll cover what's in the guest kit a little later, but having a guest kit with their name on it, again, is a personal touch. If you can make your Wi-Fi passwords or QR codes easily accessible, these will be good. I recently went to a meeting, I think it was a TGIS, where they have the QR codes that go to their link tree. And they have little tabs that are not tabs per se, little cardboard cutouts that are there on each of the tables. So all they have to do is just go in there and, literally every phone now has a QR code scanner. It's a really, real tech savvy and a very nice touch that they had. So these are all things that when the person first walks in, really nice. Greeting again. So as I mentioned about the greet master, greeting a guest isn't a one-person job. The more the number of people that can come in, say hello, you just make the person feel right at home. Of course, I'm sure you'll be able to gauge a person if they are a little intimidated by too many people. So that's something that you can identify at the venue itself. But it's always good to try and get as many of your members to interact with these guests. Very, very important. Always start on time and try and finish on time, because it shows respect for the people who are attending your meeting, both your members and your guests. Yeah. So regardless of, if you don't have enough people, if you don't have your speakers there, start with table topics, or, start with any of the other sessions that you can actually do there, but ensure that you start on time. And as best as possible, try and finish on time as well. This again goes into planning of your agenda. Ensure that you have enough buffers, ensure that you, don't have too much content on your agenda that you can't get through. And invite member. Okay, so, excuse me. This is something that we had tried way back when. This is when I first joined Toastmasters. I was in Kuwait at the time and I was absolutely jobless. I found a venue that was 5 minutes walk from home, and I walked into their club, and I enjoyed the meeting, and there were multiple clubs that were meeting at the same venue. Eventually, I decided to join one because of one specific member. Over the course of the next few weeks, I realized that that club had only 6 or 7 regularly attending members. So now when a guest walks into that meeting room, they realize that this is not, that there's not enough energy in this club. And on the same, so we were meeting on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays. On the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays, there was another club that met at the same venue, and they were a much more populated club. So everybody was just automatically joining there. So what we decided to do was we visited a couple of the other clubs and we asked them, can you just come and sit in on our meetings? Yeah, you don't have to join the club, just participate. So instead of having 6 or 7, we had 10, 12 members, and then 10, 12 people in the room. And then when the guests actually walked in, it looks like a lot more seats are filled, a lot less empty seats. Well, they don't know that these are not all our members. In the eyes of a guest, this looks like a good enough club. Let's join. And slowly, the membership strength went higher and higher. And eventually, the club, to this date, it's doing really, really well. Right, so that's something that you can always try. This is for the clubs that don't have enough members or are struggling to, fill seats and fill agendas. This is something that you could definitely try. Just a short phrase, recruiting is a lifestyle within strong clubs. It's not just a once and done activity. So this is sort of leading into the rest of the presentation. So recruiting isn't just about getting that person into the door, in through the door and into your meeting room. It continues from there. So during your meeting, maximize guest interaction. And these are quite a few ways that you can actually, maximize the interaction with your guests. First thing, have an experienced member sit next to that person and guide that person through the meeting. Explain even before the meeting starts, or when there's voting going on, applause, things like that. You can just, if the person is just telling them, so this is why we're doing it, this is what happens next, it will get the guest, familiarize them with the agenda and the pattern of the meeting. Creative ways of guest introductions. Now, this is, again, it's usually the president who's asking the guest to introduce themselves. So it is in the hands of the president of how he or she can make, enhance the quality of that introduction. One of the other ways I noticed one of the clubs that do, it's not in UAE, somewhere, a club overseas, that person sitting next to the guest, the member who's sitting next to the guest is asked to introduce the guest. Yeah, so that way they've already gotten to know the guest. And this is another important thing. This is, again, in the hands of the president. Try and ensure that these introductions are kept short. You have instances where they decide to do their icebreaker at their guest introduction itself. You want to try and avoid that. And if you find that you can't, if the person seems really keen on talking, step in. There's no issues. Step in, because the meeting is not only about that one particular guest. Ask the guest to take, okay. So this was another one, this Toastmaster Benjamin, he was attending a meeting overseas online, and he noted this, there's something that's done with the members of that specific club. So Benjamin, if you're on the call, thank you for that. So asking guests for their take on the theme of the day, asking them to say a couple of words, using the word of the day is another option as well. So this allows them, again, to just be a little more, interactive, participate in the meeting a little more. Again, of course, this depends on how much time you have to spare in the meeting and how crowded your agenda is. Ensure late entrants are acknowledged. Now, people, unfortunately, not everybody is punctual. And when they if they are entering the meeting room late, the Toastmaster of the day is somebody who can always acknowledge the presence of that guest. So say during the voting that's happening, he or she can ask the feedback that's been given to a speaker, the Toastmaster, they can ask the guest to introduce themselves. Ensure that you have enough time for member and guest interaction. Typically, this is the break that you have. Try and allocate as much time as possible for this. Yeah, so the guests get to enjoy your samosas as well as get to meet as many members as possible. Asking guests for their feedback. So this is at the end of the meeting. I'm sure this happens in most meetings, but if you do run out of time, try and get feedback from a couple of the guests. And I left this point right at the end. Now, I'm on the fence with this. In my personal opinion, table topics should first go to your paid members who are not on your agenda. They should get first priority. And if you have the time, then involve the guests. So typically, if you have 5 table topics, try and get at least 3 of them for your members and then get the guests involved. This is my personal opinion. Again, for clubs that are really looking to add more members, by all means, you can give your guests more time to speak during the table topics. I just realized while I was speaking, when I was mentioning these points, I realized there's one more thing that we used to do back in Kuwait, the vote counter. And the person who collects the votes, we sometimes ask the guests to actually do it. So that gives them an opportunity to say a few words as well. That's another thing that you can do. During a meeting, okay, now that's how you can get the guests to interact. Now, what do they actually see during the meeting? Do you recognize member and club achievements? This is typically either the president or the Toastmaster of the day can do this, either at the start of the meeting or the end of the meeting. So recognizing what your members have achieved, what they've contributed, what the club has done, all of these things will definitely paint your club in a better picture. Are your meetings educational and entertaining? Is the president explaining a little bit about Toastmasters at the start? Are the speeches, having good content, things that, can educate people, that they walk away feeling like they've learned something? And are your meetings fun? Do you have role players missing often? And if yes, do you have ready replacements? Now, I want to cite an example here, and I know that one of the members of that club is in the meeting. I saw her on, in the guests, the attendees. I walked into a club recently as a general evaluator, and I saw one gentleman take up 6 roles in a club. This was, of course, a couple of roles were before the meeting actually started. 6 roles, big ups to him. I took my hat off to him. Now, as a guest, if I see that once, I'm amazed. When I come in a second time, if I see that again, then I start getting a little suspicious. And what is going on? Why is it that one person is having to do so many roles? So you want to try and avoid this. Having it happen one time, no issues. But try and make sure that you have ready replacements available for your meeting roles. Do your evaluations elevate or deflate? Now, this is one of the key things that a guest will note. Are your evaluations constructive? Are they helping the speaker? Or are they the kind that will ensure the speaker never wants to give a speech again and the guest never wants to come back to your club again, maybe even never wants to join Toastmasters? And so those evaluations, which are the bedrock, the bread and butter of a Toastmasters meeting, we want to make sure that those are really, really strong. What sets your club apart from the rest? What is your club's USP, unique selling point? What makes it special? Why is it that a person who has attended 3 or 4 clubs as a guest should choose your club? This is something that you need to identify about your club and highlight it in as many ways as possible. After your meeting, ask them if you can add them to your club's distribution list. This can be an email list, this can be a WhatsApp group, it can be any form of distribution list that you have, but ask them if you can add them to your distribution list so that they can get updates about what happens after the meeting. Use social media. Fear of missing out is real. You'll be surprised as to, when a club is so active on social media, they've got amazing pictures on Instagram, on Facebook, people are commenting on them. The person who came as a guest, that guest's friends, they will also, they will want to know what happens there. I don't want to miss out on this. I want to be part of it. You will also make that guest feel, included. You make that guest feel special. In today's day and age, especially with your 20-something people, if it isn't posted on social media, it did not happen. Yeah, so you want to make sure you try and get as much of content out there on social media for the world to see. But of course, get their permission first. Yeah, in this country, especially, taking pictures of people without their permission is a punishable offense. So you want to make sure that you have their permission. This was the guest kit that I mentioned earlier. Now, at the meeting venue, maybe you can't share as much content, especially if you inundate them with paper. You're wasting a lot of paper as well. Probably try and stick to a couple of important things. Now, these are some of the things that you could send out as an email or a digital copy. Something, a one-pager about Toastmasters, details about pathways, something about your club. This is very, very important. Yeah, saying only about Toastmasters will have them going somewhere else. What are your social media links? When is the next meeting being held and where? An application form. What is your club's fee schedule? How often do you collect your fees and how much is it? And maybe a digital copy of your club's newsletter. If you want to send out, if you want things that you can present them at the meeting venue, suggestion would be something about Toastmasters, something about your club, and an application form. Finally, the minutes of meeting is a very, very powerful tool. Quite often you see clubs that have minutes of meeting that are 6-7 pages long. No, I mean, I am not discrediting the effort that is put in any way. However, if you can make it crisp and if you can make it entertaining, this is something that when you send out after the meeting can have a lot of impact. There are clubs out there that actually do minutes. They put their own personal twist. They put a lot of humor in it, a bunch of funny pictures in there. And what this serves is people who have not been attending your meeting regularly, they want to know what's happening. People who've never been to your meeting before, they want to know what's happening. They'll start walking in your door. So the minutes of meeting can make a huge difference. Next up, another very, very important thing. Yeah? If they don't join your club, always try and refer them to another. Maybe it is just that the timing and the location doesn't work for them. It's not that they don't like what they see. It's just they're looking for something more convenient. Always recommend them to another club. Trust me, DTM Harish will be very happy. So will that other club, because they might just send someone your way as well. Always invite them back and ask them to join your club. Always invite them back. And the ask is in quotes and underlined and bold, because the language you use is very, very important. Telling them, saying, see, you should join our club. No, don't put pressure on them. Language that you could use is, now that you've seen the benefits, how would you like to be a part of our club? How would you like to be part of Toastmasters? Asking them that will make a huge difference in their response. Do you vote members in? Should you vote members in? The answer is yes. And if you want to know where it actually says this, there's a copy of the club. So this is a club constitution. I'm not sure how many of you have actually looked at this, but in the club constitution, admission to membership, there is a line here that says the applicant shall be declared elected to the individual membership upon favorable vote of at least a majority of active individuals. So you are allowed to vote members in, and ideally you should. If there are people who are not comfortable, so say you don't like DTM Abdul Sattar and you don't want him to join the club, you're allowed to say no. Yeah. So by all means, make sure and ask your members. You don't have to, ideally you want to do this at the meeting venue, but if timing is a constraint, you can always send a WhatsApp message. This is something that we do at our club. Right. Very, very important. Don't assume guests will join if they like your meeting. Always follow up. Yeah, they might be on the fence. They just don't know who to ask. If you don't follow up, you've lost a potential member. All right, and finally, after they join, make sure you announce it to the club. Have a nice, I'm sure most of the clubs here have WhatsApp groups, so have a nice introduction for them, a nice picture of theirs, and then announce it in the club at the next meeting as well. Assign them a mentor. Now, a mentor-mentee relationship is important for both the mentor and the mentee. I'd asked a question earlier, can the mentor choose? I'll come to, in a couple of points, I'll come to that. Have an official induction ceremony. This is not just a formality. It makes them feel part of the family, and also, more importantly, helps them understand what the expectations of the club are from the member, from the new member. Yeah, if you remember the induction ceremony, what is actually recited there, there is a bunch of responsibilities that the new member is taking up. So the induction ceremony is important for that as well. Conduct new member orientations regularly, at least once in every couple of months, depending on how often your club meets. Try and get these members oriented towards the Toastmasters program. So what I was mentioning earlier, the progress of the mentor-mentee relationship. Sometimes a mentor and a mentee, their frequencies are different, their work timings may be different, they just aren't clicking. And maybe the mentee doesn't know that he or she is allowed to ask for a different mentor. So as a VP, if anybody here is both the VP membership, and if there's any VP educations here, please do follow up on this and make sure that the mentor and mentee, and for anybody out there who has the question, you are allowed to go and ask somebody else to be your mentor as well. Just remember that this relationship is also a growth for the mentor. So don't just walk out on them. Let them know and see if you can work on that relationship. And then if it doesn't work still, then find a different mentor. Try and get them to give their icebreaker and take up meeting roles as quickly as possible. You saw DTM Daryl explaining about pathways and, what is the time frame, typical time frame to be trying to make it through level 1. Make sure that they get through their icebreaker as quickly as possible. This is a very important one. So research has shown, this is not from me, this is from Toastmasters International. Research has shown that 80% of members who opted not to renew their membership had never earned an educational award. They weren't growing, which is why they chose to leave. So make sure that they are engaged as often as possible in the meetings, either via meeting roles or meeting or speeches. And if you can't accommodate them on the agenda, get them onto the agenda of a different club. There's plenty of clubs out there who need speakers. Finally, engage them in as many of the club activities as possible. It could be planning a picnic, could be planning an event. Get them engaged. They will stay. Celebrate member achievements and recognize their contributions, especially of these new members. Again, success stories. When members candidly describe the transformational impact that Toastmasters has had on them, guests will automatically be impressed and they will want to join. They will be inspired by what's possible for them and they will want to join. Having a short video of how somebody went from terrified to terrific can actually make such a huge difference, because it is, those success stories are just way more persuasive than any banner or tagline. Keep them engaged. Follow up with non-attendees and non-participants. I wonder how many of us VP memberships actually do this. Contact those people who are not attending meetings, who are attending meetings but not actually participating in anything. I'm guilty of this. I usually just show up and I don't take up any roles. Yeah, but unfortunately for me, we have a very active VP education in the club. And encourage them to bring a friend, right? Oh, there's more. Okay, last slide, I promise you here. So corporate clubs, try and demonstrate. Okay, so there's quite a few corporate clubs across the district. Unless you have the support of management, the clubs will struggle. So always, especially to the ExCom of the clubs, try and demonstrate to your HR departments and to your managements the difference that this, the Toastmasters has actually made to your productivity, to your members' confidence. Plan your DCP goals in advance. The DCP goals should not come at the cost of a member experience. When everything is quantified instead of being humanized, you're going to have a very cold environment in your Toastmasters club. Yeah, so this is on the club to plan your goals in advance so that you're not rushing members to finish speeches or trying to get one person to finish speeches. So this one here. Avoid promoting specific members. We've had instances where a person was promoted just so that he or she could finish their speeches, and it meant that other members weren't getting opportunities to speak. Yeah, so that should never happen. If you see a problem, work towards resolving it. You will have issues. People will have egos. People will butt heads in clubs. Try and step in, get some senior members to come in and speak to them, hear both sides out and see how you can resolve the issue. We have a lot of rules in Toastmasters. And again, I will say I am the first person guilty of this. I tend to stick to the law, but this was a wake-up call for me. It's not just the letter of the law, but it's also the spirit behind the law. And at the end of the day, when they are asked 6 months down the line, when it's time for their first renewal, if they ask the question, is Toastmasters still a good investment? The answer should always be yes. Yeah? If we could retain the new members that join us, we wouldn't have to work as hard to keep replacing them. So just as important as getting people to walk in your door for the first time, it's, in my opinion, even more important to ensure that they stay. All right. I hope I've not exceeded the time. With that, our question and answers, I understand, is at the end of the presentation. So I turn it back over to the MC.
Thank you so much, DTM Vinod. So is Toastmasters a good investment to all the leaders and future leaders? What do you all say? Yes, no? So yes, always a yes. So now I'm going to invite our PR manager, TM Wenzel Fernandez, to say a few words before we move on. TM Wenzel?
Yes, hi. Good evening.
Hi.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Respected district leaders, district director, PQD, CGD, area directors, division directors, and my fellow leaders. I would like to take a moment to reflect on how Toastmasters education session has profoundly shaped my leadership skills. Now, when I first joined Toastmasters, I was very hesitant to take on leadership roles because it was quite a while that I was out of the leadership roles, that is mostly for 10 years. However, through the structured and the supportive education sessions from Toastmasters, I learned how to communicate effectively, manage roles, manage my time, and lead certain tasks with confidence. Now, each session that I attended, whether it was day, night, whether it was in Dubai, whether it was out of UAE, each session actually provided me a practical tool and the strategies that I could actually implement and apply in my professional and personal life. Now, these are the sessions that I not only use in my personal life, but also in professional life. So only one request that I always tell everyone is when you get anything for free, in fact, in Toastmasters, it was not for free because you're actually paying your membership fees. So utilize that payment that you have done for Toastmasters in learning and utilize that in your personal life. That's it from my side. And I would like to thank all the trainers for taking your time and sharing your wisdom, knowledge to all our members today. Over to you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you so much, PRM, PM Wenzel. So we move on to the last educational session for today. I would like to invite DTM Rajesh Menon, who has been a Toastmaster since 2017. He's a member of Emirates Toastmasters Club and also professionally, he's a general manager in the technology industry. Currently, he is the PR advisor to District 127. TMI Brand Guidelines. Toastmaster Rajesh Menon, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster Shweta, Master of Ceremonies, for that brief, succinct introduction. Good evening, District 127. This is where we bring up a little bit more of the energy. I know it's 8:40 now. We are running a little bit ahead of, or beyond schedule. I think we'll try and make it up. I have a bunch of slides and everything else over here, but let's still get some energy, Saturday evening energy up and about. Once again, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Fantastic.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Excellent.
Good evening.
There is energy in the room. All right, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen first, part of the course. Let me see if I can see everyone. I just want to get my audience view sorted over here, if I can figure out how to do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it be. I'm just going to let it be. And I'll ask you, we'll interact over here. All right, so today we're going to talk about Toastmasters Brand Guidelines. And I have this thing for titles and wordplay, so I call it the Badshah of Brand. So if anyone here is not aware, Badshah means emperor. So yeah, we all are here to become an emperor of the brand. Thank you very much for having me on board to do this. We'll clip on at a quick speed. So today, what I want to do is I'm going to play it exactly, I mean, in fact, almost precisely by the book. Now, I wanted to ask a question, show of hands or whatever, but then we'll take it as it comes. And so how many of us over here, we're about 107 over here, yeah, 106 participants here. How many are aware that we have a brand book or a formal set of brand guidelines? I can't see all the responses, but please thumbs up and thumbs up. So if that is, it is good. So what we're going to do today, what I'm going to do today with you is I'll take you through a whistle-stop tour of the Toastmasters brand manual. That's that hyperlinked little piece of text over here. It's a document. It sits on the web at Toastmasters International. I'll even show you how to get to this document at about the end of the show. It's part of your resource pack for this session. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through this entire brand book as quickly as we can in the next 20 minutes or so. So how we structure this is we'll cover exactly the topics that are there in the brand manuals. The topics are the brand platform, voice and tone, all of this relating to the brand, of course, visual guidelines for the brand, how to use images in photography, some standards and procedures, and finally a little note on resources. Okay, and how I want you to structure your attention or your focus on this is, so think about it this way: brand platform here and voice and tone are somehow your approach, your mindset to how you want to communicate the brand to your audience. Visual guidelines, images, photography, standards, procedures are the tools that you have to achieve your mindset, to communicate to your audience. And finally, resources, of course, are reference files, folders, where you can actually go and get stuff, use stuff, so on and so forth. So that's how we want to look at it. And let's begin on that note. So again, once again, so welcome to the session. And I intended, quick note before we begin, I intended the session to be for, when I'm assuming that we don't know much about the brand manual. We may know that brand manual exists, but what are the details? What are the micro nitty-gritties of the brand itself? So that's what I kept in my mind, and I'm looking at this to be of use of primary utility to VPPRs, especially first-time VPPRs, because they are the guys on the front line. They're the spearhead in terms of communicating the brand to your audience. And of course, every Toastmaster who's gathered over here, not just VPPR, but every Toastmaster who wants to know about the brand manual guidelines, etc. Because ultimately, we all, as Toastmasters, are the brand badshahs. So we are responsible, we are accountable for communicating, nurturing, and holding the brand in good stead as we go about our lives as Toastmasters. So that's the whole idea for this session. So let's begin with the brand platform. So the brand platform, this is again what's prescribed. I mean, this is exactly what is there on the manual. So this is what we need to do. So brand platform, a couple of items over here. First, of course, is the tagline. You all are pretty familiar with the tagline. So where leaders are made. So this is the Toastmasters International tagline. And this tagline helps us to convey our mission and our common purpose as Toastmasters. So this is something that we want to keep in our mind as we go about our business. Core values, without a doubt, tenets, non-negotiable, mandatory, and these unwavering values, as we see over here, are the bedrock upon which we do everything. Every decision, thought, action, communication should be bound by these four core values. And therefore, these four core values will always kind of, guide or evaluate whatever we do everywhere else here in this context obviously with respect to the brand itself. And the promise of the brand, Toastmasters brand, and you'll recognize this as coming from our mission statement. So we obviously empower individuals through personal and professional development. So the idea over here being that whatever we do in terms of brand should kind of be built on this platform of promise, of values, and of the tenets that we have as Toastmasters. Then we come to something called the voice and tone. So when you communicate as a communicator, not just when you're speaking or when you're delivering a speech, of course, it matters there too, but when you're communicating the message or the idea of the brand to the outside world, you want to be cognizant of a certain voice and tone that you would use when you do so. So the voice and tone, and if you were to look at it, very simple, right? How do we sound when we speak to an audience? I mean, that's basically what we are looking at. And that kind of becomes some kind of a personality of the brand, of how we speak and what our voice sounds like when we speak about the brand itself. And our voice should be one of confidence, of compassion. It should be clear. It should be respectful. It is friendly, of course. It's professional. It's positive, upbeat, and enthusiastic. It's serious when necessary. I mean, please remember that we have fun, but you also are serious when it's necessary. And I like this last line. It's open to exchange. And the word here is exchange, not change. So when you say it is open to exchange, it means when you communicate, you're opening the gateway for continuing or deepening that communication with whoever you're doing with. So that's a voice and tone that you want to have at all times when you're talking brand. So quickly, in no particular order, a checklist when you're looking at voice and tone. I'm just going to repeat what I said earlier. Understandable, universal, succinct, warm, friendly, clear, professional, respectful, international. So you want to try and bring as many of these aspects as possible when you talk brand to your audience. So that's it about the platform itself. So now we know how or what our mindset is or what the direction is when we are communicating brand. So now let's look at a little bit of the nitty-gritties, the rules, if you will, the actual meat and bones of the visual of the brand manual itself. So first is visual guidelines. And visual guidelines we'll cover first, of course, the logo. So this is the Toastmasters logo. I like to affectionately call it the meatball. It's something that I thought up because it's round, reminds you of what you get at IKEA, that famous meal in IKEA, but okay, it is. And this is our logo per se. And it is an integral, a mandatory and a critical part, a piece of our visual identity. So you'll see this everywhere, and this has been happening, and this is available in every Toastmasters communication that you see everywhere. And it is important, as you would very, very obviously agree, it's important that this proper logo and its use is essential, and its proper use is essential to deliver a consistent experience across the activities, across clubs, across regions, so on and so forth. And the primary function of the logo as a piece of identity is to facilitate and to nurture recall of Toastmasters as a brand. So this is your logo. But having said this logo is also available in two more forms. So one is a grayscale and one is a white logo. And this is brand jargon, if you will. So you'll have a few formats in which the logo is available. And this logo is available too, but only in these three formats. So you want to recognize that. I'll quickly go through what your other options are. So you had the logo before, the meatball. Now you have the word mark. And word mark is again an identity piece for the Toastmasters or for the brand, for Toastmasters the brand. Same thing. You just have to use. It's simply a different item or an asset that you have to communicate the brand when you do that. So you have the word mark, and word mark again, you have the same options. You have it in grayscale, you have it in white, and you only have these three options for the word mark. So you want to recognize that too. Then you have a logo lockup. So a lockup is when you have the logo, which is in this case the meatball, and you have a tagline or something else included in that logo. And these are kind of standardized, so you want to recognize this too. So where readers are made, our tagline, and so you have the logo with the with the tagline lockup. So this is one option or example. You have many other options like this. So for example, you have the since 1924, you can have the word mark with the lockup, so on and so forth. Okay. Then you have this year, the Centennial logo. So this is specific or exclusive for this year. Pretty little brand piece, and we are encouraged to use the Centennial logo in our communications this year. Centennial logo, again, available in a couple of more options. You have a few colors, you have white, so on and so forth. So you got 4 options of the Centennial logo. Finally, you have the Pathways logo. And Pathways logo is, again, to draw attention to Toastmasters Pathways, the Pathways experience. And you want to use this whenever you want to bring focus on the educational pathway, curriculum, etc., that Toastmasters offers. And I'm not going into the applications of these, but just to recognize what is available to you as assets. And in Pathways, we also have the badges. So these are, again, a part of a set of assets that you have to communicate. So are we there? Yeah. So my point being here that you have multiple assets, but you have a number of specific assets over here too. So you have the meatball, the word mark, pathway, Centennial logo, so on and so forth. Use any of these, right? So these are the current logos. Use any of these in your communications, and use one of these only. I mean, don't duplicate, replicate, or duplicate or make redundant logos. You have one for every purpose. Use one and work with it, because that is also important to create clear and non-conflicting brand recall. Consistency is important too. So don't use many of these. Use one of these. Use something from these only. That was the message. When you use your logo, if there is anything to be cognizant of or to be particularly careful of, is to make sure that the logo has what is known as this clear space. Again, we're going a little bit into jargon territory over here, but when you design, you'll already know. So you don't want to have anything conflicting the logo wherever you place the logo in a certain manner. Again, I'm not going into the reasons why. So to put it simply, the logo is a piece of your identity, and it needs to have visual prominence on wherever you're applying this logo. So take care of that. This is not a design class. When we have the design class, I'll also kind of go into detail as to how you can actually kind of play around with this or use this or apply it when you're using this. So the meatball, you make sure that you have this area of clear space. Similarly for the word mark, and similarly for the pathways experience. So any logos that you use, you want to make sure that it sits in its own space wherever you're using it. And that's a skill, or that's a bit of a technique involved in there. So not in the context of this, but please recognize this for now. Another thing that you do not want to do when you're using any of the logos, I've used the meatball here, but when you use any of the logos, so you can't modify the logo in any which way. So you can't put it into perspective. You can't, distort it. You can't change the scale or proportions. You can't change any element of the logo. The logo is as is. The colors, the elements of the logo, the grids, the line, the Toastmasters word mark, everything remains the same it is. You cannot customize the logo itself. At best, you can use the lockups, which we saw previously. So if you want to use a lockup, go ahead and do it. But otherwise, you can't modify this logo, can't change the colors. You cannot use this logo on a background that is not a Toastmasters compliant color. We'll come to colors in a wee bit. Do I have my laser here? I'm not sure if you guys can see my little red dot. I'm trying to kind of guide you through this whole thing over here. You can't use this with any other companies or any other symbols or anything else, images, etc., overlapping or near or otherwise, and no special effects whatsoever. So use the logo in the form it's being presented. Do not modify it in any which way. So that's perhaps the most important thing that you want to learn or want to keep in mind when you're looking at the logo. And finally, we are not allowed to create our own logo either. So you clubs, areas, divisions, districts cannot create our own logo or a theme or a tagline. This is important. And we'll keep it at that in the context of this discussion. So please be mindful of that. Even if you're not using the logo, as long as your communication is intended as a Toastmasters communication for Toastmasters or outside, you must comply with the guidelines in toto. So that's important. Again, that's to ensure that we keep the identity of the brand intact. That's logos. And let's now quickly come out into the color palette. Okay. So Toastmasters prescribes a specific set of colors, the Toastmasters brand colors. We have 5, and I'm going to take you through them. And we're going to look at very quickly what each one of them are, how you can use each one of them. So the first set are the primary colors. So these are the primary colors. You've got true maroon, royal blue, and cool gray. And these colors, you can use them for backgrounds to cover large areas, large swatches of whatever color that you want to use. And they're not arbitrary colors or called by those names arbitrarily. Colors are defined by hex code. Most of you know, most VPPRs will know. And for the general public, there are hex codes. They are the specific or the specification of a color. And those numbers there with the hashtag define the hex code, use those hex codes to define that color. All of your software, PowerPoint, Canva, any and every image generating management software will allow you to do this very easily. It's a pretty basic step. So if you doubt, if you haven't been doing this, please comply, right? And again, the colors were selected for the purposes of reinforcing our elements of leadership, dedication, and empowerment. This is a choice. This is a given, and we don't move away from these colors. So these are the primary colors. Then you have something known as an accent color. An accent color here, in our case, is happy yellow. It's called happy yellow with the hex code there. And this color you would use, but not for a large background coloring or whatever it is. You will use it to highlight, to accentuate, as the name itself suggests, so on and so forth. Here again, I'm not going into the design application. This is something that you want to recognize and keep in mind. You can also use black or white, primarily used for fonts or typography, but you could also use for a lot of the artworks that you wish to, because these are, again, primary colors. Or not primary colors, that's the wrong thing. So these additional colors, that you can leave it at that. And continue to use them. So just to kind of wrap these things up, you have the color palette, 5 colors, and you are constrained, or you are limited to using these 5 colors in any combination that you want to construct whatever artworks that you want to construct for Toastmasters as the brand. You can also use gradient colors. I'm not going to spend too much time over here. So you got you've got 3 gradients. You've got blue, you've got the maroon gradient, and you've got the cool gray gradient specified. And this is, again, stuff that you can use as we go ahead. And very quickly, you can also use transparencies. Very useful when you want to highlight text. You want to, these could be used to enhance the artistic appeal of your artwork. Use transparencies, but if you're using them, they're specified in terms of how you can use them. Again, we go back to the fact that there are specifications, there are rules. You want to follow these specifications, rules as best as you can. As much as you can. Those were colors, we leave that, and then we come to fonts. And again, Toastmasters specifies brand fonts, okay? We have a few. I'm going to go through that list. One quick note before we begin over here is we've got fonts that are, how do you say, there are paid fonts, and then there are free alternates to those fonts. Toastmasters specifies both. You obviously want to default to the paid fonts if you can. Absolutely no harm, and in fact, encourage to use the free fonts if those are what are available to you. So the primary typeface that Toastmasters uses across whatever communications that we have is a typeface called Gotham. Now, I don't have Gotham. I've never seen Gotham in my life. I'm a brand guy. It costs $1,000. Literally, it costs $1,000 to purchase the font pack. So I'm just quickly going to go to the free alternative to Gotham, and this font's called Montserrat. Okay. Don't worry about the name. All of these are available for download through the brand portal. I'll let you know. I'll tell you how to get there. So here's what you would use for as a primary typeface. And a primary typeface, which means you would use it for large weight or large sized text, for example, headlines, subheadings, so on and so forth. You can use it anywhere, but the primary use is in those applications. Remember that each of these fonts come in a font family. You're free to use all of the weights, as they call it, in that font family. For body copy, so which means when you're using a large blocks of text, for example, the sentences that you see over here, Toastmasters prescribes Myriad Pro. Again, a paid font, but some systems have them preloaded, like mine. This entire slide deck is made on Myriad Pro, for example. But if you don't have Myriad Pro, default to Source Sans Pro, again, a free alternate, and again comes in multiple line widths. Now, when you see these multiple line widths, remember that these are options that you have to achieve your creative vision. I mean, so this is where you kind of bring in your variety, your artistic creativity, so on and so forth, by sitting between, what seems like very rigid or limiting guidelines. You do have the freedom or the flexibility to do what you want because of these various font weights, etc., that you have. So that's for body copy. If you don't have either of those for body copy, use Arial, everyone's favorite on everybody's computers, I would assume, or Sego. That's I think it's available more on Mac than on PC. Both of these can be used too. So perfectly okay to use any of these in any of the weights that you have. Go out and have at it. This year, last year, in fact, I think it was, Toastmasters also released two ornate typefaces. So if you want this for special occasions, celebrate an anniversary, announce something, a club anniversary, especially, and so on and so forth, use these two again. I would use these only for headings. I would never use them for text or text blocks, simply for the reasons of legibility. The options are available. Again, have fun. Finally, what we need to look at is, when you see that those are the fonts, use those. Don't deviate from those. Not very difficult to source, install, and apply those in your work. When you're using these, make sure that they're used in the standard styles and the fonts presented. Special effects, drop shadows, effects, word art, etc., are not considered compliant. Final note, make sure that you have the font or you own the font or its license. If you're using the free alternates, all of them, in fact, are available at Google Fonts for free download, and you're free to use them. If you're using one of those paid versions, make sure that you own the font or the license. Do not use bootleg fonts, so on and so forth. Those things stand out, can be, it can be a bit of a messy issue over there. So that's a fine thing that we have. Finally, in visual guidelines, I'm going to close with this, that what you're gunning for ultimately in terms of visual guidelines is you want to be compliant, you want to be consistent, and you want to be clear. Creativity is a happy consequence, if at all. You're really not getting marks for creativity. So you start with the compliance, consistency, and the clarity, and then if it's creative, great. So that's what we're looking for, especially if you sometimes have that devil in the deep sea moment between, do I comply or do I be creative? So that's the visual guidelines checklist. Very quickly, let's run through images and photography. Now, where we did I miss a slide? No, I didn't. So, okay, images and photography. Why am I not moving forward? Let me see. And there we are, yeah. So photography style in Toastmasters should reflect the Toastmasters environments. If you're using photographs, make sure the photographs are Toastmasters compliant, or which means they portray people ideally, and people who look engaged, empowered, supported, as you would see in a typical meeting, presentation, speech scenario, so on and so forth. I think I've got a red light over here, so let's start running through. So that's one very that's important. Stay away from images that do not connect to the Toastmasters environment. So, and this is to be understood clearly, maybe carefully. So don't default to images that are mainly or solely portray landscapes, animals, children, food appliances, so on and so forth. This is a bit of a rabbit hole. There's a little more depth over here, but again, for the context of today's session, let's keep it at this. Don't use cartoons, illustrations, digital art, or clip art. There are two aspects or perspectives to this. One is, obviously, we may find it difficult to portray the Toastmasters brand voice when you use these illustrations. There's also the issue of getting into copyright models if you're using illustrations. Sometimes there is certain leeway to use some illustrations. I'm not going to get into over here. Again, it's a rabbit hole there. But on the whole, or at least as a default or step one, stay away from illustrations. And always make sure that you're using copyright-free images, or you have the rights to use whatever images that you are using. Are we done? The Toastmasters logo can be used on photography. There are a few things to take care of or know over here. So number one is the logo should be placed so that it has good contrast. I think I'm just going to run through this. Ultimately, what we're gunning for over here is the logo should be visually prominent and in no way conflicted or conflicting with anything on the image that you're placing the logo on. So it should be of good contrast, shouldn't be part of anything specific, should be completely legible, of course, shouldn't cover people's faces, very important, should be on a background that gives it sufficient contrast. It should be Toastmasters approved photography. Again, you saw the image guidelines earlier. Clear space requirements, of course. And if you're in doubt, place it on the top left or the bottom right of the image. Top left or bottom right. I'm not sure if I'm getting my image over there. Okay, but you get the message. So that's about images. Standards and procedures, again, I would leave it to you to look at these in detail in the brand manual. A couple of important points. Number one is the trademark use request, especially if you're creating material. You want to make sure that you get an authorization approval from Toastmasters International if you're using the logo or the assets to create material of your own, non-paper material, especially at your clubs, areas, divisions, or even the district. So again, go through these in detail. We don't have the time or the bandwidth now to go through this in detail, but I urge you to get in there and see that through. There are a number of video guidelines here. Again, in the interest of time, I'm just going to rush through, but you must be aware of what is happening here. And I'll leave it at that. There are a couple of things available over here, but please go through. If you have time after the session, we can look at it in a bit of detail also. That's video guidelines. I think that's where we are. And there are a set of additional guidelines, especially, for example, if you're talking about corporate club guidelines, etc. No time now. Reach out to me, reach out to District PR if you want details on this. Better still, just get into the brand manual and read through in detail. If you have, we can open it to questions after the session when we are done. Finally, a note on the resources available to you. Two main destinations, and in fact, just one. So go to Brand Portal, right? So Brand Portal in your Toastmasters website is where you find all of it. In fact, the entire presentation, I just reformatted it. It's available to you as the brand manual. All of you should ideally be going through it, peruse it, and be cognizant. VPPRs should obviously be using this a lot more intensively whenever you're creating material. And this is the brand portal, like I already said. It's available from the homepage. Go to resources, come to brand portal, and within brand portal, you have the brand manual, etc. Again, drill through, explore this at your time and leisure, and then come back to me if you have queries or questions. I'll be happy to respond. When in doubt, write to District 127 PR. That's the address. When in doubt, especially when you have particularly sticky subjects or clarity that you need, and it happens all the time because there's a lot of subjectivity. There's a fair amount of subjectivity in the brand guidelines. Write to brand@toastmasters.org, and they respond very clear. I mean, quite quickly and very clearly, in fact, to whatever brand queries that you may have. If you're not able to get satisfactory responses or solutions right here at the district, and that I think brings me to the end of my session. Thank you very much. Yeah, not too bad in terms of time. I think this now, I'll send it back to Master of Ceremonies and perhaps Q&A after this. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, DTM Rajesh. Thank you so much, DTM Rajesh. Can we have a round of applause for making sure of time and giving us a comprehensive description of our branded guidelines. Next, we move on to the Q&A session. Is a professor in Al-Yamama University in Riyadh and is also the immediate past president of the BioLegends. He has been awarded DTM very recently in July 2004. DTM Georgios, the stage is all yours.
Great, thank you. Toastmaster Sita for the introduction. And then now we will have the Q&A session. So if you have a question, please do raise your hand for any of our panelists today. If you can highlight the panelists, Zoom Master. Perfect. So when addressing the question, if it's for specific panelists, please address them. If it's a general question, then our panelists can take it. I see one question already from Toastmaster Faisal Al-Hadid. If you would like to unmute and ask your question.
Thank you, Toastmaster Georgios. Actually, I have a question for two panelists. First of all, yes, I have Toastmaster Daryl, Rodricks, Toastmaster Daryl. There was, if you can share your slide again, there's one point, or actually I'll go to your slide regarding the, there was one item you mentioned in pathways. So what if someone actually finished pathways already, because what we need is to show new members how pathways is conducted, like the main actual, we already know how pathways as seasoned Toastmasters and already finished level 1 and level 2 and level 3 towards the DTM. However, if I want to show it for new joiners, how can I show it to them in a much more easier way? And for them to understand, and how to evaluate in the same time, because some of them they don't know how to evaluate.
Right. Thank you for that question, Toastmaster Faisal. First of all, to address your first question, learning is a lifelong process. Even if you complete a path, it does not mean that you have attained it all. And that's the concept also probably behind this. You finish for all 5 levels, and you again start with a new path right from the beginning. So that is number 1. And number 2, for new members, because you want to integrate that or the pathway system for them. Like I mentioned, they observe it at your club, right? They see how club members deliver their project speeches, whichever level it may be, level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If you actually notice, 1 and 2 is basically focusing on more on communication. 3, 4, 5, you take up projects, execute a little bit of leadership, and of course, communication coupled with that. So by offering these 2 aspects, you can, of course, show it to your members. But when you join as a member, when you start with level 1, you start with the basics, right from the icebreaker, learning how to write the speech and move forward. One more thing I'd like to highlight, some of us think, why speeches? We don't need to have a prepared, why do we need to learn how to write prepared speeches and deliver prepared speeches? Let me give you my example, and I'll keep this short. When I started out, I had to learn the script word for word. And there was a contest coming up, and it was a team contest. I used to forget and, it stopped there. My team member, of course, was seasoned. Later, I realized that structure, having that structure helps when you want to deliver impromptu speeches. Because you know how to structure it, you'll be able to deliver an unstructured speech in a structured format. So all these learnings take place one by one, but you need to start somewhere. And that is what I would like to add here.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much. And the second question actually to Toastmaster Rajesh. Thank you for the brand presentation. Really helpful. Just wanted to ask, because I'm also the president of an Arabic club. What is the actual font for, like, what is the best font, like based on Toastmasters, like the standard of Toastmasters? Because I'm managing 2 clubs. I'm managing English as a VPE for 2 clubs, and I'm president and PR for an Arabic club. So I'm trying to keep the standard.
Yeah, good question. And short answer is I don't know now, and I'm sorry to tell you that, but I will find that out. But here again, so when you look at how the font is being applied or used in the English language over here, so Toastmasters in design jargon, they they use what is known as sans serif fonts that are that go for legibility and clear reading than anything else. So it's not decoration that's critical, it's legibility that's critical. I've asked the question once, I'm going to ask you the question again. I'm going to ask the question to Brand at TI again, because this is an important thing. This is an important aspect for our region specifically, and I'll come back to you. It's on my notes. Sorry about that.
Okay. And there's another point, actually. I know I'm taking a lot from my other colleagues' time, but I know TMI, they have it in doc. The actual agenda is in Word document. Why don't they have it in Excel? Because it's Excel for us, we can actually calculate the time and we can merge the cells as well. Because it will help us when we calculate the time, like each one has a duration all the way, and we need to have it like in the, when we share it with members, we have to give it, like if there's any change in the agenda, it's easier for us to do it in Excel, like just plug the number and voila, all done.
So, Toastmasters Faisal, are you referring to a club meeting agenda?
Yes, club meeting agenda, yes.
Okay, I mean, if it is Word, yes, I believe there are many Excel formats available, maybe not from TI. So, I mean, if it's not available to you, it can very easily be shared, not an issue at all.
If you can share it with me, I would be very...
Yep, can do. If that's the request, yes, indeed, of course.
I'll send it to you.
Great.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Let's move to
Perfect,
Farah.
thank you. We have another question from Farah.
Hi, good evening. Sorry, my camera is not working. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, thank you so much, first of all, for such an interesting session. And you all are very good in making all of us understanding and in a very easy way. All presentations was really very interesting that I saved all, literally. So especially the last one with the how they merge the name hybrid, the language Badshah, something. It's very interesting. So I have two very general question anyone can answer because I am the beginner and the starter in the Toastmaster. So when like a newcomer come and they join a club, like through some friend or peers, so they registered in the club privately, directly from the guidance of the club members. Now when they are choosing the pathways, I want to ask, they have the separate fees or within the same fee of the club registration? First question is this one. And my second question is about the mentorship. It was very good presentation and in the detail, but still I'm missing very little point. Then how we can decide which mentor we should choose and how we can request for the right mentor. And also when we come as a newcomer, we don't know which skills we already have and we need to polish, or which we concentrate or consider first to start with. So basically it's got to 3 split. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. For the fees, because it's a very easy question, I can tell you that the fees include a pathway, so that's already there, so they don't have to pay any extra fees to select the first pathway, as DTM Daryl said. And then for the other two questions, can I ask DTM Daryl to answer?
I'll attempt it. Thank you. So with regard to mentoring, or when a new member joins your club as a newcomer, it's very important to know what exactly that person wants to achieve and what the club will offer that particular member. So knowing that member's goal for the member and for the club is essential, because the member knows what he or she wants to achieve and the club knows what to offer, or how to target, how to offer that to the member. As far as mentoring is concerned, this is my personal opinion. When a club member joins, of course, the VP Education assigns a mentor, knowing the skills of the current members that they have, how they can, whether they have the commitment, the time, and what they can offer to the new member in terms of mentoring. I followed this, and for till I completed my level 2, I was in touch with my mentor. Now I had a different approach, and I wanted to interact with members outside my club. And so when I went to other clubs outside, my connection or my bond built, it was built with them. And so I chose a person who would help me outside the club. So that was my approach. It, of course, differs from individual to individual based on the needs that that particular person has.
Yeah, that's great. You actually answer my next provoking question also, that we can go outside the club as well. Isn't it good that when a newcomer goes, the club already have this open, like they are open for the persons who are open for the mentorship in the club or outside the club?
Definitely. I think even with this, when we had initial discussion, because we have the Zoom platform, we can connect with people across the world. Similarly, your Toastmasters membership does not restrict you only to your club. You can go beyond your club, beyond that boundary, and interact with people. If you find it comfortable to get mentored by them, then go ahead and build that connection, build that mentorship. And I think mentoring is something very, very essential. It's not just in Toastmasters, it might even extend outside. So that's my take. If anybody else wants to add to that, please go ahead, Rajesh or Vinod.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good.
Great, thank you. In the essence of time, let's have 2 more questions. I see Toastmaster Maurice would like to ask your question.
I'll first of all start by thanking all the panelists. My question goes to Toastmaster Rajesh. First of all, I picked up from Toastmaster Vinod when he talked about being creative when welcoming new guests. That is, if you're giving something like a gift or welcoming the guests into the club. I was thinking about being creative. Suppose you want to do, let's say, like sublimation on some things like a mug or pen, or let's say a tumbler. You sublimate using Toastmasters logo. Coming back to Toastmaster Rajesh, we said, do we need permission from Toastmasters International before you do that?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So again, let me get your name, Toastmaster Maurice. Yes. So if you're creating material for your club area division, and you're using the Toastmasters logo or the assets, the brand assets, you must seek permission. If it's a non-paper item, like you mentioned, if it's a mug or something of that sort, you need to seek permission from brand.
All right. Thank you so much for your it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maurice. And let's take our last question for Toastmaster Jisan.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Good evening to everyone. My question is to Toastmaster Rajesh Menon. Toastmaster Rajesh, my question is regarding generally there is like special event in a club when you have 100 meeting or a 200 meeting, 300 meeting or a open house. So how much creative can one club VPR can get, with the pamphlets, sending out, or, the handouts or the, publicity on the, social networking sites? Like how much do we go ahead and how much do we, have to maintain that brand values, and what can be done and what cannot be done in those cases? Generally we don't fiddle with the template logos, but generally in these cases, we find it little restricted or constrained what to do and what not to do. So if you could just brief us in these kind of situations, what can be done best? That would be
right. So thank you, Zishan. I mean, interesting question, great question. Thank you. Let me try and break it down and answer it in a couple of parts. Okay. So number one is the brand guidelines are not negotiable. So you've got to keep the brand guidelines, and that extends to not just the logos, but all the elements of the brand guidelines when you're promoting your event. That's number one. Once you're doing that, whatever creativity that you want to do, go ahead and do it. I mean, if it fits or if it works within it. Second is, there is some kind of leeway, and it seems to be more of a case-to-case objective leeway if you want to kind of interpret, call it if you will, some of the guidelines. When in those situations, the best route, and I do this all the time, is to approach branded Toastmasters, explain what you intend to do, and seek their approval for doing it. Many times they agree, many times they don't. And it's always the safest bet to kind of do that, right? So, but whatever you do in any case should be within what the guidelines suggest, whether it be the logos, the typefaces and fonts, the images, photography, so on and so forth. I hope that
Great.
answers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DTM Rajesh. I have a quick last question for DTM Vinod, if I may. So DTM Vinod, what do you think is the best distribution list nowadays for clubs and members?
I think WhatsApp seems to be the most convenient one. I don't know anybody that doesn't use WhatsApp right now. So the only thing with WhatsApp is it can be a little informal. So I think it's best if it's a combination of email and WhatsApp.
Yeah, because an email might be a more formal invitation to an event or something rather than WhatsApp, right? And we all have so many WhatsApp groups and might get lost in translation.
Indeed, we've just got another 2 because of this session. So,
great. Thank you so much.
In my experience, if I may, I think what email is a little bit better for tracking and back reference of messages. WhatsApp is impossible. I mean, if you need to kind of go back to it. Yeah.
Great. All right. So I would like to thank all of you, and I would like to pass it on back to our Toastmaster Swetha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we can have a group photograph before we move ahead. Can all of you switch on your cameras? Zoom Master, can we take a picture?
Yeah, I'm taking a screenshot.
Yeah, can all of you switch on your cameras, please? I want to look at your beautiful faces for the evening.
Hemant has put his camera off when the picture session has come up. It's not fair. Sangeeta, Prasanna, Sahra, Sharmin, Shuaib, Sudesh.
I'm actually sitting in hospital with my nebulization kit on, so I can't switch on. Sorry about that, Dr. Sattar.
No problem. Oh, everything is fine with you, right?
Yeah, it will be. Thank you so much.
So ideally, we can see 12 members in the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is smiling. A thumbs up will be good. Vinisha, come forward. You're disappearing halfway through. Okay.
One more I'll take. Give me a moment. Smile.
Everyone is having a thumbs up. Jay can smile.
My thumbs are aching.
Thank you very much. It's done.
I want to breathe.
Done?
Done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I come to the end of my session today. So thank you so much, Didi, Dr. Abdul Sattar, for this opportunity, and PQD, Dr. Muniba Ali. So I'm going to leave with one small quote with all of you. When one teaches to learn, so today 3 of them have given us a beautiful lesson about Toastmasters, and I think all of us have learned something from today and have something to take away from today. Thank you so much, and I hand over the stage now to the district quad for the website reveal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shweta. Can everyone tell, just put a note in the message. How did you feel about the workshop? Did you feel good? Did you learn something? And also there's a feedback link. Dr. Muniba, may I request to post it again? Please post a message so that it will help us to improve the future sessions even better. And please note that every Saturday, last month of every Saturday evening, please reserve 7 p.m. to sit in front of the computer for at least 2 hours, because we have 3 educational sessions. Because last year we had many educational sessions, different times, but we have consolidated everything together. But before we move on to the website reveal, shall we finish our website reveal and then close? Is that better? Okay, may I invite the webmaster? He is around. Please spotlight Jay Chandran. Let's listen to it.
We'll start.
Yes.
Good evening, Toastmaster. I am Jay, the webmaster for District 127. Today is a very special day for me as we launch our much awaited new website. I couldn't be happier to share this moment with all of you. Our district director, DTM Dr. Abdul Sattar, had an inspiring vision for this website. And my role was to bring that vision to life as closely as possible. And I'm thrilled with the result so far. I must give a huge shout out to the CGD, the PQD and PR teams for their incredible support. This wouldn't have been possible without their dedication and hard work. At Toastmasters, it's all about continuous learning and education and further improvement. As of now, the new website is just a new step forward from the previous one. The whole aspects what we worked is on a new layout and device compatibility, then the user friendliness, user experience, the user interface. And we have tried our best to make the navigation more smoother and intuitive. The aim was to create something that is not just functional, but also engaging and visually appealing. Remember, this website is a living project. We will keep updating with new contents and resources. So make sure that you check back regularly. And here to the future of District 127 and all the exciting things ahead, I invite Dr. DTM Abdul Sattar to launch the website.
May I also invite my my partners in crime, the CGD, the PQD, and the PRM also to be present on the screen. Where is the PRM? So thank you very much. Jay is a digital marketing specialist and a technology wizard. Somebody sharing something? Yeah. And we have been working hard to bring this into life. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
1 second.
It's gone.
1 second. Let me make sure the. So this is a special screen which Jay has created to help us and support us to make sure that this event is a wonderful event with everyone's permission. This is going to be revealed just now.
Nice.
So
yes,
let me have a couple of words more about the website. So see, basically the homepage features an exciting video on the front, which visually explains the excitement and thrill of being a Toastmaster. And further going down, we have the mission, the vision, as well as the statistics, which convinces a visitor about the strength of the club. And while going down further, we have the district team featured. And further down, we have a call to action that will eventually is targeted to build a data. And Doctor, going to the, Here we have very few menus as of now. The district leaders, the awards, the resources, calendar, and contact. The district leaders features the whole team, including district, program quality, And the PR, yes. Even the division officers, area officers, all can be seen within one page. And the clubs also can be navigated through. Yes. And the award section, it is conveniently made in such a way that when you are in one section, you can browse through every departmental awards, like PR or CG or PG or district level awards. So each one of them, like club level, area level, district level, can be navigated through from a single axis. And the resources tab, we are yet to build, we are on process of building it, and it will be up soon. And the calendar also is under process. Yeah, basically that's all from my side. Doctor, is there anything I missed out?
Thank you very much, Jay. May I invite the award presentation by the PQD? PQD will be presenting her awards to start with.
Thank you, DDTM Dr. Abdul. It doesn't matter how many times you win an award, it's always special. And in PQ, we have an award, we have a team. Let me introduce my PQ team. Can you introduce my PQ team? Because we have a team and there's an awards team in PQ who helps to find these diamonds in District 127. Our MC today, she's a part of our Program Quality Awards team, TTM Shaji and Toastmaster Kitty. And we have got member awards, 5 member awards from the program quality side. The DTM, Pathway Completion, Triple Crown, Speechcraft, and YLP. These are the 5 member awards. And club awards, again, there are 5 club awards. For the DCP 5, 7, 9, and the Perfect 10, and the Super 7 awards for completing the 2 trainings. And I have 2 area awards, the Distinguished Area Award and the Top 10 Area Award. And I've got 2 division awards too from the program quality side. The Distinguished Division Award and the Top 3 Division Award. Few more awards are in discussion and will be declared soon. And these awards are self-explanatory, and how to avail those and the deadlines are mentioned very clearly in the website. Submit to avail those awards for you and for your dear ones, and let's celebrate each and every moment of being a Toastmaster. Thank you. And over to you, DTM Dr. Abdul.
May I invite the Club Growth Director, DTM Harish Krishnan, to present his awards and team.
Yeah. Good evening again, District 127. I'll just quickly wrap it up. This is a page for the club growth, and this is a team. We have a minimalist team, and each of them are experienced in their own verticals. So we'll go now to the awards. As the webmaster rightly mentioned, you are a club member, or you are a club XCOM, or you are a area team, or you're a division team. So you go, but choose the menu from the top, and that will directly take you to the 4 departments inside. So in club growth, we have, again, the awards also, we have reduced it to 20 awards this time. New member for the members, it's new member pin, and XCOM new member pin will be released soon. We are just waiting for the data correction. Then XCOM pin for the initial chartering clubs, VPM Braveheart, which was all there. Most of the naming conventions we have maintained of the last year, so that there is no confusion. I5, Perfect 10, and Fabulous 15, plus one more. Can you just scroll down? Yeah, this is a Catalyst member. Then let's go to the club awards. These are the club awards what we have. Smedley, Magnificent, Stellar, Open House, Talk Up, Beat the Clock, Mission Accomplished, Hallmark Club Silver, Hallmark Club Gold, and Club Platinum. See, Mission Accomplished is one important award which I want to highlight. This will be given to the clubs which retain 100% of the members as of the beginning of the year. So if you have 15 members by their name, those 15 numbers should be renewed. So this is just meant to for focusing on the retention of the members. Now let's go to the next one, which is area. Yeah, in the area we have just 2 awards, Genesis area and Magnificent area. Likewise for division as well. Genesis division and Magnificent division. And I know this is not enough, it's been given. We are also working on few more key milestones based on which some more awards will be introduced, but it will be like less than 2 to 3 more. That's it from my side. Over to you, DD.
Thank you very much, DTM Harish, for being presenting the awards and the team. May I invite the PRM to present his team and his awards?
And thank you so much, District Director, DTM Dr. Abdul Sattar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would not take much of your time. First of all, please officially to introduce you my team, followed by the flyer tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening. We have 4 teams or 5 teams. The first team happens to be the news and the social media team. The second team happens to be the creative desk team. Third, the digital desk and the blogs. Then we have the awards committee. Then we have the podcast, and then we have the District 127 ambassador. There you see the District 127 advisor, our own trainer of today, that is DTM Rajesh Menon. Thank you so much. Now let's go to the awards section. We have total of 16 awards. The first award is for the member award, the phenomenal poster, which has already been announced. This award is bi-weekly. That means twice in a month. The second award is a Rocking Recap Award. This is a monthly award wherein you can basically create a video of your meeting highlights and submit it. Now, the question here might come is, how do we submit? We will share the process tomorrow by the end of the day. The third award is the quarterly award, that is the Podcast Pioneer Award. Now, if you click on that award as a Read More award, you will see there are certain topics that you will have to create a podcast on specific topics, and the maximum time you will get is 8 minutes. The podcast has to be submitted in the MP3 version. The next award is the Silver Pen Award, where you have your own publications on the newsletter speaking about Toastmaster. Now, this publication should happen only from you, not on the Toastmasters media, but outside the Toastmasters resources, outside the Toastmaster media, promoting Toastmasters. The fifth award is a Designer Brilliance Award. Now, this award is an annually award. Here, you have a specific criteria. The criteria is you will have to attend number of educational sessions. That includes even today's education session. And then one of your club member has to submit top 6 posters to our specific either a submission form or an email that we will let you know when the award gets announced. Can we go to the club awards, Doctor? So here we also have 5 awards. The first award happens to be the monthly award. That is the Golden Lens Award. What is Golden Lens Award? Where we all click group pictures. It has to be creative. At least one TMI brand guidelines or TMI brand element that has to be there when you have a submission of the award. The next award is the Award for Arabic Club. That is the Arabic Phenomenal Poster Award. This is a quarterly award. Now, the 5th award is a Radiant Reel Award. Now, what is Radiant Reel Award? Specific topics are given. This is a quarterly award. You can create a video promoting Toastmasters on a specific topic and submit it for the award. The best video will be published either on the website or on a specific link that will be created later. The 4th award is the Marvelous Magazine Award. That is the Newsletter Award. Minimum 2 newsletters. The deadline is April 5th, 2025. And the 5th award is for the corporate clubs, that the Corporate Excellence Award. Submission of all the documents, supporting documents from your corporate related to Toastmasters work. Last awards are for the area and the division awards. So I will not go back to division as well because these are all the same awards. The first award is the Golden Lens Award. These awards are quarterly awards. Again, when you click a picture with either with your area or the division, the criteria is you should have a minimum TMI brand guidelines on this, or a TMI element that shows the vibrant of your area or a division. The second award is a Phenomenal Poster Award. Now, this award is specific to your contest posters that can be submitted at the end, that is annual award. And the last award is the Marvelous Magazine Award. The award is for a minimum one newsletter from the area or the district that shows the quality of your area and the district when you conduct meetings or events or anything. Overall, apart from these awards, we will also announce spot awards, and we will give you specific deadlines to meet those awards. These awards will be conducted on the spot and not planned as well. So stay tuned for the PR awards, because there are a lot of things coming ahead of you to actually help our members and also to promote District 127 internationally. Over to you, District Director. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Wenzel. Let me introduce the district team too. It's a big team. So we have, as you know, this PQD, CGD, and PR. We have the parliamentarian, the advisor, the admin manager, finance manager, logistics manager, webmaster, Arabic and language chair, the awards chair, the DTAC chair. We have a new chair called ethical committee chair. You have any issues, you can always get in touch. Events and activities, we have planning about 3 or 4 extra Toastmasters activity, which is not part of Toastmasters, but for the Toastmasters, by the Toastmasters concept that is being done by the events and activities. The realignment chair, we have a photography assigned chair, and also a data analyst, and the audit chair with the team and the IT team. This is the district team. And awards from the district, there are just 4 awards, 1 in each category. The details will be announced soon, because this is a combination of all the awards from the PQ, CG, and PR. It's a collection of everything together, and there'll be points where you qualify to become in different levels. It'll be announced soon. So before we close this meeting, I have one more responsibility that is left, that is assigned to me. That is nothing other than thanking and a word of thanks to each and everyone who contributed in today's meeting. Thank you very much, Patrick, for coming all the way from Lebanon to Dubai to help us and support us. Even with the technical glitch, you did a wonderful job. And also he took up the role as the timer halfway through, because the original timer had to leave in between because of some emergency. And we have our the MC for the day, Shweta, who's done a wonderful job today. Even lots of glitches, she was going strong. I was so impressed the way she managed the whole thing from the beginning to the end. It is not when everything is going well that we show our persistence. When things go wrong, we adjust to the situation and then we come across. Same thing happened to Daryl. The way he was speaking, even when the network is down, the voice is down, the video is down, his energy never went off. I was very impressed with the way the whole presentation went on. And so many of them have learned about pathways, and I'm sure many will complete level 1 because of this particular presentation. And there's no need to say about DTM Vinod Raman. He is a king of presenters. Every time you listen to him, it's a different feeling. And every time club growth topics are not so interesting as other, because we were doing education sessions last year. I was a club growth director last year, and we had very less attendees all the time because the topics are always not so impressive for the whole crowd. But today, I got really impressed the way the whole thing went on, especially the way the DTM Harish selected the topic. Every topic is connected and selected by the team, and the way the DTM Vinod Raman has presented so impressively. Thank you very much, DTM Vinod. And as you know, designing is a few people's job. That's what it is supposed to be. And to make it easier, DTM Rajesh has done a short, quick, fast-forward presentation today. And I'm sure it has opened eyes of so many people to become event designers. Before me and Wenzel's become designers, we were not designers. We were just looking at things in a curious way, and then we slowly picked up, and now we're able to do a lot more things than we were able to do before. And Georgios, the DTM in town, has done a wonderful job with the Q&A session. And thank you very much for taking up those as a last minute. And our Zoom master, who was guarding the doors the whole time, he joined at 6 o'clock. You know that? He came at 6 o'clock to make sure he already got an educational session on how to run the Zoom. He was even instructed when to share the video that is going to record that is being recorded today. He even got the time that he has put on the waiting room. This is all done by Toastmaster Hadi. He's part of the IT team of District 127. Thank you very much for coming in, Toastmaster Kiran. And Toastmaster David, he had to leave halfway through because of emergency, but he has done a wonderful job and supported, each and everyone has supported, and I have to definitely say big thank you to Dr. Muniba, because she was a bit of a struggle because so many cancellations, so many changes happen in between this organizing this event, and she was working 2 nights this thing, even beyond, even when she was so busy, she found time to organize this. Thank you very much, Dr. Muniba, bringing in such wonderful event to this thing. And with the support of DTM Harish and Toastmaster Wenzel, we were able to pitch in with all the role plays, all the trainers, and to have a wonderful session. I'm sure everyone enjoyed the session. Before you leave, please make sure to leave a feedback and down that Dr. Muniba was posted just now. Please make sure so that we can have better sessions next time. And see you all till we meet again. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
We can chat if you don't want to.
Thank you.
I don't know what is wrong when it goes out of Dubai with this internet thing.
Can we stop the recording?
Yeah.